Hello everyone, welcome to another rendition of XGR.
Woo!
I am your host, aka The Mole. Joining me as usual is my beautiful assistant Rick the Hammer.
Hi everybody.
And Pew Pew.
Pew, pew.
Aka Anastasia Laserbeam.
Yep.
And first of all we're going to go news, then we're going to go catch up, and then we're going to talk about our discussion, which is going to be a discussion, or look back, retrospective, whatever you want to call it, of the Game Boy. Since it is its birthday, so woo! Happy birthday, Game Boy.
Yay!
So, first up, it's the news. Take us away with your first mini news, either one of you.
I'll go.
Okay.
Your news is probably more interesting than mine. Alright. So, first mini news. There's a massive video game tournament that's raising like a crap ton of money for cancer. That's really cool. And like, there's like literally, it's like, you know how like the video game tournaments, the winner gets like shit tons of money or whatever, but it's all completely like pay to be in it, and like, it's all the money completely for charity and everything. It's like really awesome. They've raised like, I think like over $1 million, so that's pretty cool. This was in Sao Paulo. I think that's in like what, like Brazil, right? Or like, you know, South Africa? Or not South Africa, South America. Oh my god.
It's your news story. The least we expect is factor.
No, I meant to say South America.
Yeah, you're the news. You're supposed to report it, not ask.
No, I'm pretty sure it's in South America.
I mean, when was the last time you saw that on CNN where they're like, oh yeah, America just bombed and mentioned a city, and then they just turn to camera, that's in Afghanistan, right? Is that, I know that.
No, they both start with...
You know where it is, just tweet it.
Because South Africa is actually a country, and they both start with the same initials, S and A, so it's easy.
You're right. South Africa is a country. Bravo.
They both start with S and A, okay? My brain got confused for a second. But yeah.
It's San Diego.
So that's super mega awesome. It's in Brazil. There you go. It's in the country of Brazil.
Cool.
Also,
that is pretty cool that they're raising money to help people and stuff. And I wish them luck. It's like I supported which they removed now, but I did support the PlayStation 3 when it used to do and I had ran that before now when I was doing nothing basically, like watching TVs, and where you turned it on and it powered a supercomputer that would cure cancer or whatever it was.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I contributed.
Okay, so that's my mini news. Play video games to cure cancer, yay!
And
okay, so I'll go. My mini news is that Suikoden 2 has received an ESRB rating, which might be the first clue that they'll actually release a digital version on PSN. Which would be good for those people that haven't played it, because it's one of those stupid rare games where on eBay a copy...
Can you say the name of the game again? Because it sounds like you said... I don't know what you said. You made a funny sound when you said the name.
Suikoden 2.
Suikoden. Ah, that sounds like something I want in my coffee.
Well, okay, you can buy a disc of it for $120 and grind it up and put it in your coffee if you really want.
Close enough.
Oh no, for that price, you're just going to use it as a cup holder or a coaster.
There you go.
Suikoden. That sounds
But that does sound cool. You're saying it could get a PSN release, or?
Yeah, a lot of times when an older game before the ESRB gets rated, it's because they're going to re-release it in some form.
Nice.
Yay!
Yeah,
Look at you, fun to play.
It is a cool game. I do, although sadly they probably won't fix the translation, because as much as the game was good and stupid rare, it's also like it wasn't finished because there was something, because some of the townspeople will speak complete gibberish, or there's just bad grammar, and I think there's even a person that doesn't even like has symbols. It reminds me of like Legend of Zelda 2. You ever played that? Like the I am error. There's like some stuff like that.
Yeah, I was going to say bad grammar, complete gibberish. it's almost like they're all voiced by Stacy.
Pretty much.
Oh, you're so funny.
Thank you.
You're so funny. Ha 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 ha.
Thank you. Now, my mini Yep, I chose to believe that was real. My mini news. BioWare's fantasy role-playing game, Dragon Age Inquisition, or however you pronounce it, has officially got a release date now of October 7th in North America.
Yay!
To follow up on that, they were contacted and they said the European release is going to be October 10th, which makes sense because the 7th is a Tuesday, the 10th is a Friday. Our games come out on Friday, yours come out on Tuesday. Everything's cool, no one needs to complain. Like I've seen some people complain, oh my god, we're getting 3 days later, 3 days.
Oh my
I'm
god,
like,
I can't handle it!
I'm like, what? EA has also, following up on that, it's only small, but EA also revealed the extras included in the digital deluxe edition of the game, which costs just £60 from Origin. They are the Skyhold Throne, which is a throne made of dragon skulls, a horned beast mount called Red Heart Hala, I believe, Red Heart Hala, and an ugly bog unicorn mount. You get a soundtrack too, plus more digital content to be announced.
I'm looking for the to be announced stuff
There's also the Flames of the Inquisition equipment, which is not including weapons and armor and the mount. Oh, we'll say which does include weapons and armor and the mount. However, they've mentioned when you pre-order it, all you're gonna pre-order and will get you is the Flames weapons, but not the armor or the mount. That's reserved only for the Digital Deluxe Edition. I'm now curious, will the Digital Deluxe Edition be what you can buy from the PSN store? Or from like the Xbox store and stuff? Or is it only going to be for PC gamers using Origin? Because that kind of sucks. I want every item. I want it all.
I imagine.
What about a dragon, goddammit, not a deer? Because that's what they are. They're deer. The Hala are basically like giant, like horse goats. And
You can also get an ugly bog unicorn.
I want to get a fucking dragon. I want to come in there riding a goddamn dragon.
No, the dragons are the bosses. They're normally end game bosses.
I want to ride a dragon, goddammit.
But now,
are you sure Flemeth is pretty old?
If I could become a dragon, that would also be cool. That's the only other one I could accept.
If I could mount Flemeth, that'd be awesome. She can use magic to de-age, because she did look younger in Dragon Age 2. Yeah, I'll mount her good. Why not? I already did a daughter.
There you go.
You can do the whole family line, and then they can grow old and die, and you can do them again. And they'll come back.
But like I said, big news.
Big news, news.
Pew, pew, pew.
Alright, my big news is that there is a significant price drop now. They said it was going to be a permanent price drop for Assassin's Creed 2 and Zombie U, which is now, they're both, Zombie U is going to be $29.99, and Assassin's Creed 4 will now be $39.99. So that's cool. I may pick up Assassin's Creed 4 at that price.
That is pretty cool. The one thing I would say, correct me if I'm wrong, Greg.
Sorry, go ahead.
Which one sounds bigger to you? Cure for Cancer or Old Games Are Now Cheaper?
What? Old games are now cheaper.
Well, it's
that never happened.
The only reason
I'm surprised Zombie U only, yeah.
Sorry, the only reason I put that as big news is because I put that as news that people would probably more care about. So that's why I put it in big news.
True.
Because unfortunately, no one cares that if, some kids don't die of cancer today.
Okay.
Oh, that's so nice.
Well, how much was Zombie U? Like 30, you said?
Oh, Zombie U is $29. Yeah, it's $29.99 now. So I'm pretty sure you can get it cheaper than that, like off.
Yeah, I'm surprised it held on to its value that long. It was a launch game. I thought by now it'd be like 15.
I have to ask you, Geeky Girl.
Yeah.
Do you work with the video game companies?
No.
You know what reason why is Victor asked? does it cost $30? And your response was, no, it's cheaper than that. It's $29.99. That's so what like the PlayStation and stuff do. Where they
Actually,
put, like,
I didn't.
stuff for $10 and it's $9.99.
Actually, I didn't remember what it was, so I was just reading it off as it was. I wasn't like saying that because I couldn't remember how cheap it was, so I had to read it back.
Well, it is cool if people haven't got those games yet, because I know Zombie U is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But it's a big Rick for bigger news.
All right.
Man, so, bigger news.
Right. That's my new shirt. So they announced a new sequel to Final Fantasy Theater Rhythm, the game that's not fun to write at all, but for the 3DS, and it has so its sequel has more songs, more characters. I believe they said over 60 new characters, new and old, sorry, including Barrett Ain't No Getting Off This Train We On from Final Fantasy VII and Yuna. Yay! Oh, and it also has people from Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. Holy crap! Does anyone besides me remember that game? No, probably not. And Dude from Tactics. That's good. So I did enjoy the demo of the first one. I never got around to picking it up, but I'm definitely looking to this one because it has, quote, over 200 songs. Yes.
Is that what I'm thinking by the name? Is that like Wii Music with Final Fantasy people?
It's kind of like a little bit Parappa, a little bit Elite Beat Agents, and a little bit Final Fantasy. Because like when you get into a battle, it like has notes, and you have to like press the screen at the right places and like tap it and like hold the stylus on it and stuff to do your attacks.
Oh, it's on 3DS.
It's a 3DS.
Oh, I heard that was console. That would have been fucking awesome if they then brought out like Guitar Hero style, like Sephiroth guitar.
Defeat Sephiroth with your rock.
That would be amazing.
Hey, if Optimus Prime and Soundwave can duel with guitars, there's no reason Final Fantasy characters can't.
That's right.
And that was fucking awesome when they did.
So yeah, that was my big news.
Which, I will say then, the Optimus Prime thing segues to my news.
Oh.
Way Forward is best known among Nintendo fans. That's right. But for doing Mighty Switch for us. They say here that basically new information's come out about Darkspark. What they're saying is the 3DS one is going to be like the Super Robot Wars franchise with over 50 characters to play from, so it's going to be like a grid tactical RPG. I'm sure Richter's happy with that.
Yay!
Woo!
The console one, however, they said the home console version of Rise of Darkspark will take place in both the movie-based Transformers universe and the video game universe based on the War of Cybertron and Flawless Cybertron games. However, it's not what people thought. They were just mixing them together with the looks and stuff, which I didn't mind it if they mixed the looks. It was all cool. They're doing 2 games in one.
Right.
I know. That was shocking. The first half of the game plays through the movie-verse, and takes place during and after events of the upcoming Age of Extinction. The second half, the Cybertron half, takes place just before the launch of the Ark in Fall of Cybertron. That's kind of interesting. The fact they're doing it that way. And they've also mentioned they're including unified leveling system that unlocks and points go between main campaign, escalation mode, and multiplayer and stuff, which is cool. Escalation mode, there's now a power foe boss character who will appear if you last long enough. Escalation will also feature hacks, as they're calling it, customizable settings, which gives you like higher enemy health or every robot becoming a massive explosion upon death and all sorts of that. So if it meets up to what they were promising, that sounds fucking awesome.
That sounds cool.
Run birthday party. Yeah, I think it's kind of cool that they'll that there's actually some reason to play escalation mode because I really like that mode. But there wasn't really much reason to do it other than to have fun.
There's no reason to play the game other than to have fun.
Yeah. Well, it was hard to like find matches because people were like, "I don't want to do that. I don't want to do anything," and I was like, "Man."
Yeah, I agree. Everyone last time for multiplayer. They just wanted to go into the death match and play as the most cheapest characters possible until they got patched. Like, oh, I'm just going to play as this one because it's almost invincible. I just keep spinning. It's like, oh. But I'll admit, I liked escalation mode as well. Like you said, I loved that mode. And I like the idea of me and you could play each other, or me, you, Jeff, and stuff. We can all play each other. And when we do, we can change the settings if we find it too easy or stuff like that. And the idea, pardon me, of escalation mode that leads into like a boss fight, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that sounds kind of, so like, I'm assuming every couple waves it's like, oh, look, now actual Starscream comes down and just starts shooting you and has like a fuck ton of health.
That's what I'm imagining, yeah, something like that. It could be worse though, it could be like, you forget about it all the waves and you've completely forgotten about about the fact there's going to be a boss character and it's like Devastator.
Oh my god, I'd love that.
Or Unicron. You're just on the ground with your little sword looking up like...
Have you seen the,
Yeah, why not?
Was it the Cabin in the Woods where literally this guy comes up and a unicorn just frickin' pegs him to a wall and slices it through his stomach and then leaves? Cause like, there's like every single monster imaginable in like the Cabin in the Woods. And the unicorn just comes out, boom, slices him, leaves. Badass fucking unicorn.
I'm confused what this means to transform.
Oh, I thought you said the word unicorn.
Unicorn!
Oh, I thought you said unicorn.
You unicorn transformer.
Yeah, you just plan.
I thought you said unicorn. Like, I heard unicorn.
Yeah, but it's time to look at the discussion, I think, unless, were you about to say something, Rick?
I was just wondering if you had ever played the PS2 Transformers game?
Armada?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, because the final boss is Unicron, which is actually a really cool part of the game.
It was. However, in multiplayer online, in escalation, I don't think that's going to be good, especially when you barely survived, you got no ammo, and then there's a fucking giant planet above you. Like, unless it's like, did you ever watch Transformers? Oh, what the hell was the third one in the Unicron series? Galaxy Force or Galaxy something. But they did an episode of that where they were fighting in an arena and the last person was like a little tiny unicorn. That'd be amazing. But what the hell was that one called? There was Armada, Energon, then was it Cybertron?
Cybertron.
And was it called Galaxy Force in Japan or something? Because I remember I liked the Japanese one more, ironically. But
yeah, oh. I don't remember, but that does sound right. There was a Galaxy Force, I believe, or something like that.
Ah, cool. And then, over to our discussion. It's the anniversary, or the birthday, whatever you want to call it, of the Game Boy. Arguably the best and arguably the pioneer of handheld gaming.
Heck yeah.
I say arguably because you still get like LCD, you still have like LCD toys and shit, which... It's arguable, but the Game Boy definitely does deserve respect. It gets mad props.
Mad props. Yo.
Who would like to start first?
I'll start.
Anyone?
Nope, no one.
Okay, fine. You start this.
I was just gonna say, because I had 2 Game Boy Advances, like the first one, like, was so valuable, it got stolen out of my, dad's...
I'm out. We're going up to Game Boy Advance. We're not covering Game Boy Advance.
Oh, sorry, it's the Game Boy original.
That's better, yeah.
It's like
we discussed that with you before.
It is the original, Game Boy. I thought I said that, but
it's the original. It was just so advanced that she...
Yeah.
So, anyway, it was awesome, but somebody stole it broke in my dad's car and stole it along with his, like, radio, because that was when the radios could, like, pop out or whatever, you know? So they took out the radio there, and then I got another one, and I actually ended up getting, that one also got stolen, from a different person's car, because people could just keep breaking into my neighborhood and stealing stuff. So, I actually had 3 in total.
That thief went on to purchase 5 PS4s.
So yeah, I really, really, really loved it. Though I only had like 3 games for it, which was Tetris, Alleyway, and Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario World. Right?
Fair enough. We'll say they did some things cool with the Game Boy Advance, with the Game Boy. They did let's face it, Game Boy gave us Pokemon.
Whoop.
That's become a phenomenon in itself.
Not
as much. This is nowhere near as much as a phenomenon, but the Super Mario Lands did give us Daisy.
She's my favorite driving person in Mario Kart.
Mine's me.
I believe that. It sounds very...
M-I-I, that's who I play as. I play as my me. In the last one, anyway.
That sounds very believable.
I'm surprised you don't. You got an option. It's your me. It's you.
I know, but I always liked Daisy. In fact, in the other one, I always played as Baby Daisy.
Well, fair enough.
In the duck car.
Yeah. But how about you, Rick? Any thoughts with the Game Boy?
That was a crazy good system at the time. I'm always amazed I did not play it more. I mean, I played it a lot, but I think about handhelds, and I didn't really start playing a ton of them until DS. But I did have a lot of games. Definitely played them on road trips that my family liked to take. And God, 6 batteries I think it took to power that thing, which is crazy. And I had when we get to the peripherals, I'll mention more about that. But that was a pretty cool little system. One of the games I remember liking, besides Kirby's Dream World, was another game that nobody remembers called Kid Dracula. I don't know why that game was so cool. I should dig that up and play it again.
And you can mention the peripherals. There's no set way which we're discussing it. We just took it free flow.
Well, I just remember because it took so many batteries, I eventually convinced my parents to buy the battery pack that you could get for it, where you plugged it into the wall and it would charge up, and it had a little clip so you could put it on your belt and mine died. I used it so much.
I plugged that crap straight into the car.
I wonder if there's actually kids out there who could possibly be listening to this and thinking, it's a handheld gaming system. It comes with a USB port. Use that to charge it.
You're going to get the car adapters. That way it never runs out.
I rarely played it I guess I did play it in the car, but I was never... I was always in the back seat. I don't know if the cord would reach that far.
Oh, I always made the cord reach, because we have traveled to New Jersey every summer for 10 years or something, and that was it was the most southern point of New Jersey you could get. So there was a 5-hour drive or some crap like that.
Yeah.
And it was you gotta find something to keep these kids shut. I refused to buy a DVD player or a more portable one, because those are so expensive right now. So that's what we did.
See, I remember playing loads of games on the Game Boy like that. I've still got, which I need to be sending. I'm going to send over to Victor eventually. I've still got the original Power Ranger game. I still got the WWE Betrayal, or whatever it was called. I forgot what the name. I still got that. Those two were fun. I used to have some of the Pokemons too, but I think my niece or nephew jacked them for one of their DSs that actually played Game Boy games or something. Or it was for their Game Boy Advance. It was for something they had. But that was a while back. But I still got the other two, which are fun. My thing with that is, who remembers when they brought out Game Boy Color?
I do. I have a green one, because green's awesome.
Yeah. Who remembers when you first put the game in, you're like, yeah, it's going to be color now. It's going to look like my SNES. It's going to look like my Mega Drive. Nice. And then you turn it on, and the colours were wrong on some stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I always wondered how they did that too, because I was like, if you're making it for Game Boy, wouldn't you make it in black and white? So if you pop that in there, it makes it colour. Does it just guess where to put the colour? They're like, nah, fuck it, this is close enough. Let's paint this colour.
Everything's in reds or shades of blue or,
Yeah.
I'm going to assume, because I don't even know how they translate, but black and whites actually are representative of colors, if that makes sense. There's a certain grade. It's this one is seen as red or something. So I'm imagining there's probably some messed up algorithm that actually tried to decipher that crap and probably didn't do very well.
Yeah, you'll find out when you play that Power Rangers one. I swear some of the costumes are wrong colours.
Well, what's funny is... Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry, I was just saying, no, I'm just saying, I swear one of them's got, like, I think, like, pink and red maybe the same colour or something, or blue maybe a different colour than what you're supposed to, I can't remember.
Oh, cool, you're Billy. No, I'm Zach. It's just messed up.
No, I'm black and blue.
At least in, like, the Pokemon games, like, it was all shades of red, you know, and the blue one is all shades of blue, you know. At least, you know, at least they got that right. That was, like, at least, you know, they didn't try in the first place, I'm pretty sure, to make the colors, so at least when it came out in Game Boy Color, you know.
Oh, yeah, no.
Back when Pokemon was fucking awesome.
Yeah, 150
Even though Pokemon Yellow as well.
Oh.
They knew the colors were so messed up that they remade Legend of Zelda and just made a colored version. It's like, we added a dungeon and color, so buy it again. And I was like, you know... I think mine came with a game, or like that game came with my Game Boy. So.
And you looked around and you were like, that's not going to sell. People aren't going to buy the same game again. A few years later, HD collections, touche world. Yeah, that was my favourite. I loved Pokemon Red and Blue. I did like them. But I loved Yellow the most.
Mm.
I wasn't that fussed on Gold and Silver, I'll be honest. I was not that fussed on them. But I loved the original Pokemon games and I loved Yellow. I'm still convinced Red, Blue, and Yellow are the best Pokemon games ever.
Absolutely. I'm here with that.
Back when Pokemon were actually basically almost unique and less lazy looking than ice cream and bags of crap.
And gothic chicks.
It's a flying sword.
It's a
well,
fetus.
That looks neat, but yeah.
Plus, I believe...
I can't even pronounce that stupid thing's name. I hate him.
That's why I call it. It's a fetus Pokemon because I can't pronounce the fucking name. The unborn baby.
Fetus.
It's a fetus Pokemon.
Plus, I believe, I'm not entirely sure, but isn't there as many legendary Pokemons now as there is like types of grass Pokemon or type of electric or something?
You can have like 15 electric mice or something like now. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah. And they keep trying to retcon shit too, like, what is it, fairy types as strong against, is it stone?
Yep.
I thought it was dragon.
Yeah, okay, it was dragon.
Know.
It was maybe dragon. Let's just assume it was dragon.
Uh-huh.
If it was dragon and fairy strong against dragon, like I've mentioned in the past, fair enough, Professor Oak or whoever the new professor is does not know this. The Pokemon knows this. So why wasn't Jigglypuff suddenly stronger against dragon type of Pokemon now since he's a fairy type? We didn't need to know he was a fairy type and that's how it worked. But I'd be like, oh, we just discovered this new type of insect and it's a spider. And then it only knows it can climb walls and use webs when we discover it can.
Yeah. Well, I remember even though I really like Gold and Silver, when they added Dark type, it was kind of like, where it's like, oh, now Bite is really effective on things that think a lot because it's suddenly a Dark type move. Like, wait, what?
It was always effective. Don't try to say it's super effective now. It was always super effective.
Yeah.
I love Togepi. I will admit, he's the best thing for me from Gold and Silver. I love Togepi. He's awesome.
You know what happened when I first played? Was it when the one came out with the Pokewalker? You know. So I had Togepi in the Pokewalker, and then I lost the Pokewalker at college because literally I dropped it in my math class, and I just turned around to pick it up because it was literally within seconds. I saw someone pick it up and run away, and I'm like, whoa, what the hell? Dude, seriously. And then because you're supposed to show Professor Oak your Togepi or something, I had to reset my game.
Wow. Because
you have to show him, the egg to show it hatched or whatever, or whoever, Elm or whatever. And it's you don't have it. And he's just wait till it hatches, wait till it hatches. I'm like, I don't have the egg anymore!
I will say that's something that was annoying with the latest games that have come out of Pokemon as well is, I can't remember if it was Black. It might have been Pokemon Black and White that did this, but you know that Street Pass crap?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where you could only get you could only trade Pokemons, or there was something in the game where you needed Street Pass, which is great, However, most people I know around here don't bring their consoles out with them when they go into town and shit like that.
Yeah.
The only ones who do are kids at school. And I'm sorry, I'm probably going to end up on a list if I'm a grown man sneaking into a school with a Pokemon device. Come here, kid, I got Pikachu! But no, I'm being carried off at this point.
Especially
I just want to trade.
I was say, especially if you want to if you're telling them you want a Pikachu, you want to peek at you.
Come on, just let me pull out my dragon. But no, speaking of the peripherals, we were mentioning before this, I remember the camera and printer. That was hilarious.
Yeah, oh man. What was probably the megapixels on that camera? Probably like 0.00014.
Yeah.
It was so crappy.
But when I printed it, it looked like you at a Game Boy scan.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. But I will also give props to that because that was actually the first handheld camera on a device that played games and shit that people had. Because people overlook that when they look at like their new smartphones. Like, yeah, this phone had a camera. This is the type of phone that had a camera first. But no, this had a camera before that, and this was also a handheld device. As much as a gigantic brick of a screen can be handheld.
Well,
but,
I like. Oh,
sorry, I was just saying, it was handheld.
It was, yeah. I like that the printer. I don't know if it only did this because I think the only rolls I had did this, but it printed out on like basically sticker paper, so you could like print stuff out and cut it out. Because I remember this is super nerdy. I apologize for wasting everybody's time, but I actually made a card for my wife before we were married, when we were dating, where I spelt the whole thing out in unknown from Pokemon.
Oh, that's adorable! That's so adorable! Oh my god!
I muted when he said that with, and this is kind of nerdy, but I did this for my wife. I was thinking of like, that was a footballer over here that recently got done a while back for taking a picture of his own junk and emailing it to someone. I thought, wait, did he use the Game Boy camera to take a picture of his crotch and peel off the sticker, like put it on the bedroom door, was like, this is waiting for you, honey.
No, like, that's like adorable. It's almost adorable as like that person who got the Pokemon for the Elite Four, and then the whole Pokemon's names were just a sentence. Like each Pokemon's name was a word, and it says, "Will you go out with me?" And that was like all the Pokemon like name put together, and that was like adorable. And they were actually level 100 Pokemon for the Elite Four as well. Like, I was like, holy crap, it's amazing. That's so adorable. That made my day.
Do you like Pokemon? Well, I'm the guy in the bushes who's been peeking at you.
That is definitely, yeah.
See, I'm being nice. I'm being romantic. Why is it people always... I don't know. Why do people always think the worst when I'm being romantic? It's like one of my ex-girlfriends said it wasn't romantic when I ripped the heart out of her puppy and gave it to her. Because I'm like, well, fuck, you can get these cheap cardboard heart-shaped boxes, but this is a real heart. What's wrong with that?
You're terrifying.
See, if you're going to make the bad Pokemon pickup lines, I got to go with one of my favorites, which was, Butter, free up your schedule. I'm going to be drilling you all night.
Nice.
Oh my god.
And no, that's not what I spelled.
Oh, but that's pretty amazing. It's like so terrible, it's great.
I like to think that's what Richter always does now. Like every serious letter, like he has to send a letter into the cable company, just like casually cutting out the unknowns. His wife said, just use a pen! You caveman! And he's cutting it out.
No, that's amazing.
It does sound sweet. You did a good job.
Oh, thank you. The peripheral, though, I remember, whether it's good or bad, was this monstrosity that you would clip onto the Game Boy with a magnifier on it.
That's
and
what
a light,
I had.
So you could
The magnifying and light.
Yeah.
I still had that up until a couple of months back. Because I had that, but I didn't have a Game Boy anymore, and I was like, yeah, I kept that for an emergency. Well done. Trash it goes.
Oh my god, you should have seen, like, my mom said one time, she said my freaking Game Boy looked like it was on life support, because I have, like, the headphones in or whatever, I have the magnifying glass, the light on it, and then I have, like, it plugged into the car, so it'll, like, stay in the battery forever. She's like, what the hell is all that shit? It's like, this is how I play games, God, don't you know anything? Seriously, what's wrong with you?
And I also remember the Game Boy adapter for the SNES. That was pretty cool.
That thing is amazing. I was such an ass when I got that for my birthday, but then you're like, I don't know, within the year I was like, this is an amazing present.
Yeah, you're like, great, thanks, now I can play my Game Boy games. Oh wait, I couldn't cut. Yeah, but when you had it, that was amazing. It's like, who remembers was it N64 Pokemon Stadium with the cartridge pack? Where you have to slot your Game Boy ones in there. That was awesome. They did some pretty neat stuff, which is, the Game Boy, think about this logically, the Game Boy had a camera, a printer, yes, it had technically a light and a backlight, or a magnifying glass, but I'm not going to include that. But it had, because that was cool, but that's not the point I was making. Most of these features are all in game consoles now. Like, you can buy a Vita, and I think the Vita has a camera in it. I know the 3DS does.
Yes.
Which means both of those have a camera in it, which you can print off with your computer or something like that. And they both have them in it. They both have a load of these things, which came from the Game Boy. But people don't think that they came from the Game Boy. Like, being able to take your Vita and move your save to the PS3, huge. Same thing with the 3DS and doing it with the Wii U. That's pretty huge. You could do that with the Game Boy with certain stuff. That's impressive.
Well, I was thinking, I used the AR cards to take a picture of Kirby sleeping on top of my cat's head, and I made that my desktop picture on my computer at work. So it's like the most adorable thing, because it's like a big Kirby sleeping on top of my cat's head, and then like it's just adorable. So yeah, you got that from the freaking Game Boy.
Yeah, I took a picture with the AR card of Zelda looking really scared of my crotch in front of her. Impressed by the huge size of my dog.
I just think something wonderful and made it awful.
And I also took a picture of Link with my crotch above it with his hand held high, like he's like, oh, Link's got penis.
Oh my god.
Do-do-do.
Yes.
You got penis. Congratulations.
Send that to Simon.
Yeah. I am obviously kidding with that before you all think that, but the Game Boy had some pretty neat games. The Game Boy had some pretty neat games on it and some pretty neat ideas, which that was kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, even like that Game Boy player, or the one that was on the GameCube as well. Like there was a Super Nintendo on the GameCube ones for the different. I know we're not dealing with Advance much, but like that kind of stuff, still that'd be cool to do again today. Like the Vita TV, it's pretty much like that.
It is. It's like like you said, we're not going into Advance too much, but Advance had one thing I wish the 3DS and stuff actually had.
Mm-hmm.
The Game Boy Advance TV tuner.
Oh yeah,
I have that over here. I plugged it in, and like the ironic thing with that is over here we have a TV license, which means if you own a TV and it can pick up BBC, you get charged. I bought that from, it was Game or Game Station, one of the two. I took that home, and with a letter, I was like, what the f-? And I looked inside the box, I'm like, what the? And I had to take it by law. It was an agreement to give me a new TV license because I'd bought the TV adapter. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. Luckily, we phoned them up and stuff because I was a kid at the time. We're like, look, our household has a TV license. We don't need a TV license. And I'm like, okay, we'll let it go. And I was like, oh, well, you'll let it go, will you? You'll let it go that a child wants with his console and you wanted to charge him money. You'll let that go. Yeah. But I wish they had something like that nowadays. I understand they can't get away with it too much because, like, the swap over here from analog to digital wasn't some stuff harder, but I'd love it if, like, the Vita or the 3DS could actually watch TV shows. Besides, possibly, I think they can watch Netflix. But I'd love it if they could actually pick up my satellite and be able to watch it on that. That'd be awesome.
That would be cool.
I also wanted to say when you mentioned about the Game Boy battery on the Game Boy.
Yes.
You never had a Game Gear, did you?
No, I didn't. I was a huge Nintendo fanboy back in the day, so no, I did not have a Game Gear.
Yeah, I was one of those people who was a fan of both. I enjoyed Mario and Sonic and stuff like that, which was cool. But I had a Game Gear. I was so excited to get that. And I think the Game Gear may have had a TV thing for it at one point as well, but that's neither here nor there. But the Game Gear, yeah, actually, yes, it definitely did have a TV thing, so that had it first. But it was a case of, I had the Game Gear. It's a monster in size. The graphics on it were a lot more better than what the Game Boy was offering. But the battery, oh my god. It was like, boom, before you can even get through level 1, you've run out of battery.
Yeah, wasn't it like 8 or like 10 batteries or something crazy?
Yeah, it was like 4 a side or 5 a side. Like, it was like, oh my god, what the hell? And they didn't even think to bring out a rechargeable battery pack, which I'm not thinking like click into a computer with a USB, but I'm thinking a battery pack that you could charge.
Yeah.
But,
Or at least plug it in the wall or something, or a car adapter or something like.
Yeah, but I will say I did love my Game Gear, and I will say I do have fond memories with the Game Gear, but I'll go into that another time if we ever do a Game Gear anniversary.
I need to get one of those.
You've finally seen the light, my brother.
I don't know if I'd play anything, but...
I don't know if I'd play anything, I just want it.
Yeah, I mean, I have played one, because I had a friend that had one, and I remember playing Columns on it.
You need to get a Jag. That's what you need to get, you know? A Jaguar.
I'll get an Atari Lynx, if anyone remembers that.
Yeah.
Handheld. Lynx. I also used to have a Spectrum where you used to have to play it with a cassette tape.
Nice.
I hated playing games with a cassette tape. That was horrible. It was like, no. That's not a good at least. But no, the Game Boy. And they did a good job with the Game Boy. Ironically, I think Nintendo may have inspired Apple. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but look at Nintendo's business model since fucking Game Boy game era. Game Boy. Then when they got the technology, they made it slimmer. Game Boy Pocket and Game Boy Color. And that's pretty much what they still do now with the DSs and 3DSs, 2DSs, DS XL, 2DS XL, DX with fucking cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger.
And I think Sony does the same thing with it. Sony does the same thing with PSPs with different versions, and Vitas, I think it's going to have different versions. That's pretty much what Apple does now with, like, you buy the iPod, and next month it's the iPod Nano, and the one after that it's like the iPod fucking Penis or something.
iPod Penis.
Game Boy was a neat system. I remember for a long time, really probably one of my favorite Mario games was Super Mario Land, which was on there. Totally had those, I think 2 levels that were like a side-scrolling plane shooter. Those levels were so awesome.
I mean like the underwater ones where you shoot the crap or something?
There's one you're in a sub and then one at the end where you're in a plane.
Yeah, I like the sub one, because I just like, I don't know why. I just like to imagine I'm killing all like the little like bloopers. I'm like, that's right, I'm the wildlife, I'm the wildlife.
Yeah. We'll say, Game Boy also, I think, is almost a representation of what technology becomes. The Game Boy, the first ever handheld gaming system, or one of them, there may have been other ones. Like, I remember a Neo Geo Pocket at one point. But I assume that came out later and stuff. But
yes.
I can't believe I just mentioned Neo Geo Pocket. Oh, but no.
I have one of those.
That was the year you forgot to get your wife an anniversary gift and she punished you.
I kind of imagine that. Sorry, I was gonna say. I imagine that if she was to punish him, he'd enjoy it a whole lot. Yeah. It'd be another anniversary present.
Yeah, but I was saying the thing with the technology thing was the Game Boy first. Let's just call it the first. I don't know if it is, but the first, or at least first mainstream handheld games console that took off. When you got that, you were like, yeah, I can play games in my bed. I can play games on a train. I can play them on the bus. Yeah. And then eventually, by the time Game Boy Advance came out, at least for me, and I know a load of people were like that, you'd get one, play a couple of bit, and you just sit down and you're like, I don't care anymore. And and it's like handheld gaming now, where everyone's always under the impression of it's not as good as proper console gaming, which is fair enough. A lot of people do like the handheld gaming, but it's not the same thing. More people take it for granted, shall we say. And it's like when virtual reality comes out, which we've touched on here, I can almost see 10 years, 20 years after VR's come out, everyone's going to have a virtual reality helmet in the corner of their room gathering dust.
Yeah.
And that's what technology becomes. It's like, I have, in one of my other rooms, I've got a big fucking nice, thick, old school TV before they did HD TV. It's now there just in case one of my HD TV breaks and I don't have time to go to the shop and get a new one. That's what technology becomes. It's almost sad.
Yup. God, those old movies.
I mean, it's like in prisons now, the ones that banned the death sentence, it's just electric chairs, just gathering dust. Okay, I don't think I get that.
They need to put those on eBay.
Yeah,
some of that capital back.
Yeah. Who remembers that when some of the prisons over there banned the death penalty, and you had all those people outside in like the executioner masks with signs with "They took our job." Okay, that never happened. That would have been fucking amazing.
They took our jobs.
Yeah, with an executioner mask on. It'd be epic. Oh, but no. Like we said, there was some good games. Some great peripherals, and they proved what peripherals could do. Of course, they also had some setbacks. Who remembers the Virtual Boy?